So after the huge amounts of success that Salieu had with Frontline, he has now dropped his new album called Send Them to Coventry, and I really think that this is the sort of quality that artists should aim for on a debut album, because fuck me, this is impressive for a debut. And I've said this about a few albums this year, and if anything, it just shows that the levels are going up, so you better try and keep up. So here's my review for Send Them to Coventry by Salieu. So yet again, a vocally unique rapper who came with a quite interesting sound when he first came in with Frontline. That was his kind of breakthrough song this year, with a lot of people trying to say that he's a J Hus clone, and it's very good that he managed to prove them wrong very, very quickly. He's quite versatile in terms of sounds, but he does have a sort of theme that he likes to go for. So I was very interested to see what he was kind of capable of in the grand scheme of an entire tape. So let's take a dive into it. Remember, like and subscribe for any other reviews or thought pieces or anything else that I decide to throw up on this channel. I like to ramble a lot. I'm sure there's something that I can trigger you with. So Block Boy has a pretty infectious hook on this thing, and those snares in that bass line, I really love what they're doing. Like that's just sonically, this song blows my mind. I don't exactly know what sounds or how he plucked out those sounds on the hook. I feel like the instrumentation on this is just so weird in ways. It's kind of wacky that it just really works really well, and it's quite immersive. You really kind of just get drawn into the song. The flow on that first verse was really unorthodox, and even for Salieu, that is really good at unorthodox flows. Even on Frontline, his flow is quite unorthodox in terms of how he strays off beat at times, even though he can be quite punchy in other times. But I feel like for this one, I didn't see it coming. I really didn't see it coming, along with another song that is my favorite song on the tape that I'll be talking about later on. So there are some more drill type cuts on this thing, with TTM being Trapped Till Morning, but my favorite song on the entire tape has to be Over There, which was produced by Javon, who also made Frontline. The man is a fucking wizard. I feel like, one, I did not expect Salieu to sing, and I fucking loved it when he did. Vocally, he's actually pretty impressive. I really do like the melodies that he picked for the song when he did decide to sing on it, and that flow on that verse, it's kind of skippy, it's you know what I mean, it comes a bit like that, and it really brings life to the song, opening the song like that. It really gets you boogieing. I feel like it's a pretty upbeat song, but the melodies have a bit more darker tone to them, so it's a song, yeah, it gets you boogieing, but the theme in terms of how it all comes together in terms of an overall sound is really interesting in terms of a contrast in that sense. I didn't really think the beat for Informer with Millions was anything that special, and I thought Millions' verse was okay. I feel like it could have been better. I feel like he has better verses. There was nothing that was essentially bad or a train wreck around it. I just didn't really feel like there was any sort of lines to pick out from him that were particularly interesting, like on other Millions songs that I've had before, or anything that had a particular ring to them. I just think the verse did its job, and Millions gave a good show. It fits with everything they were trying to do with the song. It wasn't necessarily a waste. I wouldn't say that the song should have been scrapped or shouldn't existed or anything that extreme, like I said with other songs, but I think it just works, but it doesn't really do anything more than that. So Salieu jumps into his Afrobeats bag with songs like Pile Up. I really liked the kind of marching drum that's used on there as well. I feel like kind of differing instrumentation is really nice to see on things like this. It's not really one that you generally expect in terms of how the new sound of Afrobeats tends to be, but having that sort of instrumentation in there, it mixes things up, and I think it was a nice surprise. I feel like that whole song is pretty well crafted. So More Paper and the song Flip and Repeat are the two songs that kind of stand out to me the most lyrically in terms of how he actually puts what he's saying together, and in terms of the more lines that I could pick out that were kind of interesting to me and kind of went, ooh, he put some thought into that. Yeah, that was pretty cool, and it was kind of eloquent how he puts them. I feel like those were the two songs that really did that for me. I feel like More Paper is a lot more inspirational in terms of the stuff that he's talking about, his dreams, his aspirations as just a kid from Coventry with a couple of his guys that he came up with, and kind of talking about their aspirations for the future and talking about conversations that he once had that always served as motivations to keep going. And I feel like that song really does do well on that front. So having Boy Boy as a feature on Warning was a brilliant shout, and it kind of shows that Salieu and his team, they really are paying attention to the talent that's out there. Boy Boy is doing really well as a dancehall artist, dancehall slash bashment, depending on your take. But I feel like that's just such a great shout that you can tell he's really paying attention to what's out there, and the two of them link up really well. I think it's just really great synergy between the two of them. I don't think this collab is forced at all. I think it's a match made in heaven. I feel like Active, it just feels kind of meaty, because I just feel like the verses from the features aren't great. They're just not great, and they range from average to I never want to hear this verse again, honestly. I feel like LZ De Niro and Stizzy's verses are both verses that you just want to skip, and Shakavelli's flow is just all over the place, so it's kind of a shame where only one out of the 4 features is really giving a decent slash good offering. So it's kind of like, I don't know about this song, and I feel like even then the beat was really nice. I really like how it kind of sets up as well for what could have been an interesting lineup of artists, none of which I've heard before, that could have been putting me onto someone pretty new and a fresh face. But I don't think it really delivers on any angle, because none of the rappers really have very much to offer, and even then the one verse that was decent wasn't anything particularly special. Like, in terms of the beat on this one, the guitar riffs are actually a really nice touch, and it does make that beat have a bit of difference in kind of texture and kind of in terms of the layers that are on this thing, so you're not just listening to the same sounds throughout the entire thing. All of Salieu's beats really function like this. They're all kind of just constantly evolving one way or another. Even then, you've got one hook, you've got a completely slightly different melody to the other hook that was on the same song. It's things like that that really do make for an interesting tape in terms of how the whole thing flows. Overall, I'm gonna go B-. I think sonically he really does execute well, and I feel like in terms of his own lyrical performances, it's alright. I feel like he doesn't do anything horrifically brilliant across this thing, but I don't think there's any moments where he's just bad, like, oh, this Salieu verse was terrible. There's definitely not a single one of those on this entire tape. Some verses do stand out simply because of the flows he comes with that I did not expect at all. For example, Over There, I think that song is just phenomenal. I really do like the singing on that one as well. I feel like in terms of the singing, he can be somewhat inconsistent, but he's never bad, which in this day and age, you know what, I'll take it. I mean, rappers are getting better at singing. It's nice. I feel like in some places he could have been better vocally, but in other places he smashes it. But there's no point where he's an absolute train wreck and he's bad. So rappers are getting better at singing. It's good. I mean, I'll take it. There wasn't too much of a focus on album concept, and I feel like more of the focus on album concept was more with how it sonically feels across all the different sub-genres that he kind of tackles on this tape. But I do feel like there is quite a decent mix-up of song concepts in here in terms of what he actually wanted to talk about and rap about or sing about on these songs, which does provide variance. So I did like that. I think this tape is just a good introduction to his sound as a whole, what he's capable of, vocally, lyrically, who he could really vibe with, the different subgenres that he can tackle, and how he can put it all together into a project. So definitely this is the sort of quality that we should strive towards in a debut. I know that can be hard. You get a couple stabs at it with a mixtape, but even then, this is his first project out the gate, which makes it more impressive because he didn't really have any projects or small little EPs or mixtapes beforehand that I'm aware of. So straight out of the gate, this is pretty impressive. So that's the end of this review. Like and subscribe if you like any of the stuff I do on this channel. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm chatting complete shit. I have absolutely no idea what I'm saying about music. Salieu is a god and he should have got an A. Let me know if I'm talking complete rubbish. The next video down the line should be Scribs Riley, his new EP, Wish Me Luck. So that's going to be one to look forward to. Spoiler alert, it was fucking sick, but there wasn't really much of an album concept, and that's kind of the only thing it's missing. But yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Peace, thanks.